currently on the train right now to go to Kawazu to see the early blooming cherry blossoms. And yeah, it's pretty early right now, it's like 8 a.m., but this train is completely booked, so I'm expecting there to be a big crowd once I get there.
This train is fully booked today. There are no seats available with a Japan Rail Pass or Tokyo Wide Pass that have not been assigned.
NANI?!
So I am currently at Kawazu. Right now it's the last week of the Cherry Blossom Festival here, so I wanted to see that before they went away. So I made it to the main viewing area and there are a ton of people here. So along the main path, it runs along the river, but there are a bunch of cherry blossom trees planted along there and it creates this kind of tunnel here. So I think I walked past the main area right now. I'm not really too sure because I've never been here before, but the area behind me over there where all the trees are, that was the most densely populated with people and also the most densely populated that I could see so far with cherry blossom trees. As I was walking here, there were a lot of food stands, so I'm gonna see if I can find some cherry blossom flavored foods to try for you guys. So I don't know when I'm gonna be posting this, but as of this recording of the video, it's currently the last week of February, and usually the sakura, they bloom at the end of March, start of April, but the sakura in Kawazu, it's a different breed of them, and they bloom especially early in late February, which is why I'm here to see the early cherry blossom blooming. So I have gotten 2 of the pink taiyaki. I think that they're actually flavored because the description said that they were made using the cherry blossom leaves. So I'm hoping that they taste kind of like cherry blossom and not just color. Yeah, I got 2 not because I'm with someone, but because I just like eating dessert.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So I'm actually pretty excited for this. I honestly only came here just to try this. I could care less about the festival, but I really wanted to try the pink taiyaki because I had seen this a lot on Instagram and stuff. And this also is not a typical like cake batter taiyaki. It's supposed to be a mochi one, so I'm excited to see what it tastes like. So this is definitely chewy. I really like the texture of it. You get the nice sweet red bean in it, and I feel like you can kind of taste the little bits of cherry blossom flavor in here. I think you can really pick up on the tiny notes of it, but I feel like mainly it is just red bean flavored because there's a lot of red bean paste in here, and that is pretty much the main flavor of it, but I do feel like there are subtle hints of cherry blossom, so this is overall pretty good. I really like the chewy texture of it. At least right now, there's only red bean. They don't offer any other flavors. I feel like I had seen that they used to, but maybe because there's such a long line that there's only red bean now. But overall, this is still pretty good. I think this is really worth it. I actually also really like the red bean paste in here, but I feel like usually red bean paste is overly sweet, but I feel like the fact that there are lots of chunks of whole beans in here, it makes it less so that. So overall, this is really nice. It's a really good snack. And I also do feel like you can definitely pick up on the slight light floral notes of the cherry blossom. At first I thought that the pink color was just a gimmick, but honestly, I feel like I can definitely taste the cherry blossom in here. I don't know if it's just my mind playing tricks with me, but overall, this is really good. So that was actually the first thing I ate today, so I'm pretty hungry right now. It's like an appetizer, so let's see what other cherry blossom flavored things I can find here. Alright, so this is the next item on the list. This is like a Sakura Ichigo Daifuku Mochi mix. The outside is like the normal Sakura Mochi they can find in these stores here. It has a kind of slightly pounded rice texture on the outside that's flavored with the Sakura, and it's also wrapped in a salted sakura leaf as well. But then this one has red bean paste in the middle and also a strawberry on top. So I've actually tried just the regular sakura mochis before with the salted leaf on the outside, and I am not a fan of the leaf itself, so I don't really know if I'm gonna eat the leaf, but maybe I'll take a bite with the whole thing at first, just to let you guys know what it tastes like. Okay, yeah, honestly, I don't think I like the flavor of the leaf. It tastes slightly acidic, but also a bit medicinal and too floral for me. So I think I'm just gonna rip it off and not eat that with the mochi. But the mochi itself is pretty good. The strawberry is nice and cold and sweet and juicy. The red bean paste is also pretty sweet. I think it's sweeter than the last one that I had. And then the mochi outside itself, I really like the texture of it. There are still pretty large chunks of the rice itself, so it gives it a pretty good texture. It's not just completely soft and mushy, but this has a really nice chew to it and also has a really good texture to it as well. Yeah, so this ended up being $3.50 with the strawberry. I think just the regular mochi without the strawberry was like $200. So yeah, that's an expensive strawberry, but it's still pretty good. I'd recommend it. Yeah, and overall the outside, if you've ever had sticky rice, like in the Cantonese dim sum shops, it's kind of like that. It's just more chewy and I guess kind of more mashed together. I don't think I'm describing it very well, but it's a really nice texture actually, so I like it. So I guess while I'm here eating this mochi, I'll give you some more information about the area itself. So I'm currently in Kawazu. It's in Izu, which is south of Tokyo. And I don't really know much about the area besides the cherry blossom, the early blooming cherry blossoms here, but other than that, I think they're also pretty well known for a specific citrus fruit, and then they're also really well known for the wasabi that they grow here. So Kawazu is honestly pretty far away from Tokyo. It's a 3-hour train ride depending on what station you get on from, like Tokyo Station versus Shinjuku Station, and also depending on what day of the week you're coming down here, because different lines run on different days. But on average, it's gonna take you 3 hours to get here, which is pretty far away, considering the fact that you can take the Shinkansen to Kyoto in 2.5 hours, so yeah, it's definitely a trek to get out here. I think one of the biggest reasons why people come down here is because this area has probably the earliest blooming cherry blossoms near the Tokyo area. And that's because in this area, there's the specific species of sakura plants that bloom early. Usually the sakura plants, they bloom, I think like end of March to early April. But then these are specific ones. They are Kawazu Sakura and they bloom in, I think, late February. And they also bloom for a whole month versus the other sakura trees, which bloom, I think, for maybe like 1 or 2 weeks. So yeah, this is a pretty good area. It's also pretty festive with the festival here. It goes on for, I think, a whole month until the end of February, sometimes extended by a week into the first week of March. So yeah, if you're interested in that, definitely be sure to check that out if you're ever here during those times. And yeah, also since I've never been here before, I don't really know how far down this river and this festival goes with the food stalls, but yeah, I finished the mochi, so I guess let's see what other sakura flavored things I can find here. Next up, we have this sakura flavored soft cream. I feel like I'm mainly going to be eating desserts today because that seems to be all the items I can find that are sakura flavored, but I'm completely fine with that. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but actually looking at this right now, there are little flecks of green things in here, which might be the sakura leaf itself, which is pretty interesting. Let's see what it tastes like though. Okay, so that was kind of weird. Some people came over here to interview me for the morning news or something. But yeah, so getting back to the ice cream itself, I feel like this kind of tastes a lot more like cotton candy than anything. At first I thought it tasted like vanilla, but I'm getting really strong notes of cotton candy actually. It doesn't taste like the very artificial, very factory-made cotton candy flavor. It tastes more like cotton candy you get freshly made at carnivals and stuff like that. So I actually do really like this. I don't normally like cotton candy flavored things, but this itself actually tastes pretty good. Yeah, it's like kind of vanilla-y, a little bit cherry. It's not medicinal at all. It's pretty sweet. So I actually really like this flavor. I think this is actually probably the best tasting sakura thing that I've had so far today. So next up, I have a cup of amazake. This is Sakura amazake, and I guess for those of you who don't know, amazake is kind of like a fermented, naturally sweet rice drink. So this is a liquid that has little chunks of rice in it, and then this one in particular has also some sakura leaves as well. And I guess that's what makes the drink overall a little bit pinkish. Usually for amazake, there's no added sugar in it, but it is naturally sweet because of the fermentation. I've had it a couple times before, and it's usually pretty good, so I wonder how this one is gonna taste. Okay, I did not expect it to be that hot. But overall, it's actually pretty good. It honestly kind of tastes like normal amazake that I had before, but this time there are some salted sakura leaf petals in it, and I think that is basically what they've done to the overall drink. I don't really taste much of the sakura flavor itself until I drink the actual petals, and then those pieces are actually quite salty. But I guess it matches pretty well with the sweet drink, so overall, it's pretty good. It's also really nice because it's pretty cold outside, and this is a really warm drink, so I like it. And so I think if you guys are coming to Japan and you've never had amazake before, I think that's actually something that you guys should try when you're here. It's a pretty interesting and unique drink, I'd say. Yeah, it's overall very sweet. I actually quite like the chunks of rice in the drink as well. It at least gives the drink a nice texture. It's slightly chewy. Yeah, if you're ever able to find it, then I would definitely recommend getting some. They do usually have special amazake shops in certain areas, but then you can also find it in the grocery store as well. See, so right now it is 3. I've been here for like 3 hours now, and I don't really know at what point this festival ends. I know that the trees light up starting at 6 p.m. and I guess at this point I might as well stay until then. But yeah, I guess I'll see how much more walking there is to the end of this festival, and then I'll decide after that. Right now I have got another Sakura Mochi. This one is kind of different from the standard one. This one is actually very smooth compared to the kind of like lumpy, grainy ones that I had before, and this one is grilled. Smells very strong like a Sakura, so I hope it tastes really good as well. That's really soft. I really like the nice charred crispy edges of it. It goes really well with the soft mochi part of it. I really like the crispy bits from here from the grilling, and honestly this is not as chewy as the other mochis I had before, but I feel like overall it's still a really pleasant texture. The inside is actually a sakura flavored white bean paste, which honestly I wasn't expecting because a lot of stuff here had red bean paste in it, so this was a pleasant surprise. The leaf itself, you can really taste the salt on it still, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I feel like it works kind of well here. I feel like also actually the leaf itself lends some texture to this overly soft mochi. I'm actually starting to appreciate a lot more. I just don't like how it is so salty. I think that's my only gripe about this. Right now, I'm just kind of sitting eating here at a bus stop off the main road because there are honestly a lot of people here right now. I think it doesn't help that the festival is coming to a close. I think it ends next week, so I guess people are using this time to come out here and see the early blooming sakura before they fall, petals fall, I don't know. But yeah, I also realized that I have not made very much progress so far, so I had stopped a lot along the way on the stalls in the beginning near the station, and there are honestly a lot more stalls further down the road. So I think if you come here, you should definitely make sure to go all the way down first and then come back to the front to see what options there are, because I also saw that walking from the station to the very end of the path, it's only like 30 minutes, so it's not that bad at all. And you also get to see more of the sakura before it gets dark. I guess right now I'll head back to the mirror and see what else there is to eat. So this is actually very nice. I was initially having some jet spot coming here because I had to wake up so early just to get here, and it was a 3-hour train ride, and I think it costed like $40 for a ticket one way, and that was really pricey. But honestly, this is a very nice festival. I really like all of the sakura trees that are lining the river here. You get to walk down onto the kind of like riverbank, and you get to explore. You get to see all the leaves hang over the edge, and I feel like the overall atmosphere of the festival is really good too. I had really only been to one festival so far, and it was in Kyoto, and that was supposed to be the largest summer festival in Japan. And I really did not like it because it was just so crowded, and the food honestly there was not that great. But I feel like the foods here so far have been really good, and the crowds, even though there are a lot of people, I feel like it's definitely not as intense as I was expecting it to be. So this was actually a really fun trip. Yeah, it is honestly quite far from Tokyo, so I feel like you guys have the time, then I would recommend coming here. But if you don't, then there are definitely going to be a lot more sakura festivals in the city once those ones start to bloom. And actually on that note too, if you are planning on coming here, I will recommend booking your tickets in advance, because I booked my ticket last minute, like literally 12 hours before I was leaving, and that was the last seat on all the trains that were coming here. So if you want to come down here, definitely make sure to book it well ahead in advance, because you're probably not going to get a seat if you book it last minute like I did. So it looks like there's actually quite a bit for me to still walk down over there after I cross the bridge, but honestly I do not know if I'm gonna go that way because it's getting kind of dark and looks like it's gonna rain. So I'm gonna turn back around now. I'm also still really hungry. I did see a good amount of sakura flavored things still, but they were all desserts, and I am a little bit sugared out right now. So maybe I'll turn around, I'll see what savory foods these stalls have to sell, and then maybe after I eat those I'll have more room for dessert. So I just realized that this place is also pretty well known for their onsen, so I guess if you really did want to come down here, it might be worth it to do like an overnight trip. You're not rushing around to do everything in one day. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else there is to do in the area. I've never been here before, but it seems like a pretty nice, quaint little coastal town. So yeah, I think if you guys like nature, this is a pretty cool place to check out. I've also found that this area is a lot less touristy. I definitely do still see some tourists around here walking around in groups, but it's definitely not as touristy as Tokyo or Kyoto or areas like that. So if you want to skip the crowds, I definitely recommend coming here. So I think it is starting to rain now, so I'm going to turn back. I don't really know if I'm going to find anything to eat, but I guess we shall see along the way. I ended up getting a sakura manju. I don't really know what's inside of it, but it said sakura, so I got it. I'm guessing that it is going to a red bean paste, but we'll see. Oh, okay, it's sakura flavored white bean paste. The bun is actually so light and soft. I was not expecting that at all, but it's really nice texture. It's pleasantly soft. And then the bean paste itself, it's really smooth. It's quite sweet. I think I do taste hints of the cherry blossom in it. I do see leaves in here as well. Overall, not bad. There's a lot of filling though, compared to the actual bun. I really like the texture of the bun, but I think the filling to bun ratio is just off. And yeah, so I think it is actually starting to rain now, so I should probably head home pretty soon. Oh, I also just noticed, but it seems like a lot of the food stalls here, they close at 5. So if you're coming here, make sure to come early or with enough time to eat all the foods you want. I think that is the end of the Kawazu adventure here for today. Thank you guys for coming along and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. But yeah, if you guys are ever in the area in late February and you want to see some cherry blossoms, then this is definitely the place to go. I think that is it for this vlog. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.